Have you seen the viral headlines? Ireland will pay you €84,000 to move to a remote island. It sounds like a dream escape, quitting the rat race for a rugged coastline and a fat check from the Irish government. But as we head into 2026, the reality is a lot more complex than a 30-second TikTok. Today, I'm breaking down the actual grants, the strict new 2026 requirements, and the massive immigration hurdle nobody mentions. If you're new to Four Corners Travel, subscribe so you don't miss future videos. To truly understand your options in 2026, we have to look at the specific legal framework of the Vacant Property Refurbishment Grant, also known as the Croy Connethay Towns Fund. This is not a pay-to-move scheme. It is a strictly regulated reimbursement fund. The first rule you need to know is the vacancy requirement. To qualify, a property must have been vacant for at least 2 years. In 2026, the local authorities are more rigorous than ever about proof. You cannot simply claim a house is empty. You must provide utility bills showing zero or minimal electricity usage, or a letter from a utility provider confirming the date of disconnection. The second major rule involves the age of the property. Following the 2025 updates, the building must have been constructed prior to the end of 2007. This is a critical date to remember when browsing listings on daft.ie. The financial tiers are very clear. For a standard vacant property on the mainland, the grant is capped at €50,000. However, if the home is deemed derelict, you can access a top-up grant of €20,000, bringing the total to $70,000. To unlock that extra $20,000, you must provide an independent report from a qualified professional, such as a structural engineer or a chartered surveyor, stating that the building is structurally unsound or dangerous. The famous €84,000 figure only applies if the property is located on one of the 30 designated offshore islands, like Innis, Maine or Bere Island. This includes a €60,000 base grant for vacancy and a €24,000 top-up for dereliction. New for early 2026 is the Above-the-Shop Conversion Grant. This is a game changer for town centers. If you convert a vacant space above a commercial shop into a home, you can receive €95,000 for a single unit. If you create 2 units, the grant rises to $115,000, and for 3 or more units, it reaches a massive €135,000. There is even a €5,000 supplementary grant available to pay for expert architectural or feasibility advice. You must apply to your local city or county council and receive approval in principle before you start any work. If you hammer a single nail before that approval letter arrives, you forfeit the entire grant. The secret to making these projects viable in 2026 is the ability to stack your refurbishment grant with funding from the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, or SEAI. While the housing grant handles the walls and roof, the SEAI grants focus on your carbon footprint. As of February 3, 2026, the government has introduced a new fixed-rate heat pump system grant of €12,500. This is a comprehensive package that includes $6,500 for the pump itself, $2,000 for necessary radiator and pipework upgrades, and a brand new €4,000 renewable heating bonus. This is a massive improvement designed to move Ireland away from oil and gas. Energy insulation grants have also seen a 2026 boost. For a detached house, you can now receive €2,000 for attic insulation and up to €1,800 for cavity wall insulation. If your property requires more intensive internal dry lining, the grant can be as high as €4,500. For the first time in 2026, the second wall measure is active. This allows homeowners who previously received a grant for one type of wall insulation to apply for a second, different type, such as adding external wrap insulation to a house that already had its cavities filled. Furthermore, the domestic solar grant remains stable at €1,800 for 2026, though the VAT on solar installation has been slashed to 0%, significantly reducing the initial quote from your installer. There are strict rules for these funds. First, you must hire an SEAI registered contractor. Using an unregistered builder will result in a €0 payout. Second, every project must undergo a Building Energy Rating, or BER, assessment, both before and after the works. The government even provides a €50 grant toward this final assessment. For first-time buyers in 2026, there is a special Quick Start Attic Insulation Grant that covers nearly 100% of the cost, intended to help new owners improve their home's comfort immediately after purchase. When you add all these together, the total government support for a derelict island home can technically exceed €110,000. This makes the daunting task of a 2026 renovation far more affordable for the average family. This is the most critical part of the script because it addresses the biggest misconception, that buying a house in Ireland gives you a right to live there. In 2026, Ireland remains one of the few European countries with no restrictions on foreigners buying property. Whether you are from New York, Sydney, or London, you can legally buy a house and own the freehold title in your own name. However, owning that title does not grant you a residency visa. Since the closure of the Immigrant Investor Program in 2024, there is no golden visa or path to citizenship through real estate investment. If you are an EU, EEA, or UK citizen, the process is simple. You have the right to reside in Ireland and apply for these grants under the Common Travel Area, or EU treaties. But for everyone else, you must secure a residency stamp through the Immigration Service Delivery. The most common route in 2026 is the Critical Skills Employment Permit. This requires you to have a job offer in a high-demand sector, such as nursing, engineering, or software development, with a minimum salary that is usually above €38,000 per year. Alternatively, if you are a retiree with significant funds, you can apply for a Stamp 0. This requires you to prove an annual income of at least €50,000 per person and have a lump sum available for emergencies. The ancestry route is another vital path. If you have a parent or even a grandparent born in Ireland, you can apply for the Foreign Births Register. Once registered, you are an Irish citizen and can move freely. If you don't fit into these categories, you can only stay in Ireland for 90 days as a tourist. This is not enough time to manage a renovation project that typically takes 12 to 18 months. It is also worth noting that Irish banks are very hesitant to offer mortgages to non-residents. If you are moving from abroad, you will likely need to be a cash buyer or have a massive 50% deposit. Always verify your status with a solicitor or through the official Irish immigration website before you put a deposit on a derelict cottage. Before you dive into a 2026 renovation, you must understand the financial risks and the clawback rule that binds you to the property. The Irish government views these grants as an investment in the community, not a gift to property flippers. When your grant is paid out, a legal charge is registered against your property title for 10 years. If you sell the house or if it stops being your principal private residence, meaning you move out or try to turn it into an Airbnb, you have to pay the money back. If this happens within the first 5 years, you must repay 100% of the grant. If it happens between 5 and 10 years, you must repay 75%. Only after 10 full years of living in the home is the debt completely wiped clean. Furthermore, the 2026 construction market in Ireland is expensive. The derelict trap is a real phenomenon, where the cost of renovation far exceeds the grant and the purchase price combined. Building costs in Ireland have risen by an average of 6% annually over the last few years. While a €70,000 grant sounds generous, a full renovation of a derelict cottage in 2026 often costs between €150,000 and €250,000. You are responsible for every cent beyond the grant limit. Additionally, the grant is paid in arrears. This means you must have the cash or a loan to finish the house first. The council will only release the funds after a final inspection proves the house is habitable and all VAT-compliant receipts have been submitted. You also face the risk of a rejected application. If the local vacant homes officer determines that you purposely left the property empty just to qualify for the grant, your application will be denied. You also cannot apply if you have already started the work. The sequence must be: find a house, get a quote, apply for the grant, receive approval, and then start building. In 2026, local authorities are prioritizing applications in areas with high vacancy, so your chances are better in rural counties like Mayo, Donegal, or Leitrim than in the center of Dublin. It is a long, bureaucratic process that requires patience, a great local builder, and a very healthy contingency fund for unexpected costs like dry rot or rising damp. Ireland's grants are a massive opportunity, but they are a marathon, not a sprint. If you're ready for the challenge, check the links in my description for the official 2026 application forms. Would you brave a derelict island renovation? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.